Nuga asked, general approach to lead vocal reverb. Love the one on Rider.
Oh, I love that. I love that too. That's probably the seventh heaven for Casti, but it's just about that, that backdrop that drapes behind, because she's focused and dry, but then there's this lush long, right? Because the groove is really dreamy, right? The whole thing is just wavy and just a little bit unsettling, kind of sexy, but kind of, like what she's singing about is different. And it's like, it's just mystery, right? So the Verb is trying to create mystery in a pretty loopy track, right? It's just like this sampled string pluck instrument. So the Verb's actually doing a lot to give her that dreamy sense. She loves that. I mean, that's kind of her thing. It's like, how do we get it to be focused and dry and audible, but also just have this backdrop, this shape that's like bleeding into each other, causing some intonation issues into the Verb. I'm probably putting a chorus on the reverb itself, so it detunes left and right subtly. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole soundscape kind of thing for that kind of record, because there's not a lot happening. So there's a lot of space the vocal needs to fill up. And she's so dynamic in her performance, and she goes from what's the just proximity effect, and naturally, and it's good. It feels right. It doesn't feel like improper vocal technique. It feels like that's how it's supposed to be sung. She like closes up her tone on some notes, and you want to let that spray out a little bit more, and you have to automate things up. So, yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit more on the, it sounds a bit like you're saying, let's see, how do I frame this? I think of reverb and time-based effects, chorusing, delaying, all of those things in that space in time after the vocal as relative to how much space you want to fill up. So in a song like that, you're talking about something that creatively it's useful to actually make it a little swimmy and a little detuny, and have the reverb tail go a little bit too long so that it then warbles in with the next line and that sort of thing. And are there times also where you will try to avoid that completely? Like, talk about that as a philosophical thing, like reverb as a and delay as like a time tool.
Yeah. Quick.
Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, there you are. You're back.
I don't hear you anymore.
Okay, I can hear you. Wait, you went away for a second. Can people hear me? Can people hear you? What's happening?
Hello?
Oh, I got you again. I can hear you.
Oh, now you're there. My friend Zach FaceTimed me, even though I'm on Do Not Disturb. Somehow it came through.
Zach.
I know. Ingmar Carlson, my protege. I want to just shout out to answer the question, who's your favorite mixer who is in the top 15? Ingmar's killing it. Just get Ingmar on your mixes right now. Just do it while he's still affordable. I'll put it that way. So when it comes to time-based, I mean, yeah, tempo. Kid Cutler said it, tempo dependent. How dense is the production, right? So I'm talking when it comes to that Rider record. I mean, there's not a lot happening in the record. It's an 808 and a sub bass that changes through the chorus and the verse is a different style of bass. And there's a sample plucky string instrument, right? So that's basically it. Yeah. And I'm trying to fill the space like we're talking about. In a more dense up-tempo record, I mean, I might lean more Kanye and go no verb, right? So you might just want that vocal to be driving it like a rap record, even in a pop song, but that's kind of a rap approach. And a lot of rap, like you've listened to, Click or something on Kanye and Big Sean, there's no verbs on those records, there's nothing. And if it is, it's a throw and it's big and it's bold. So that's the other thing I was going to bring in.
Yeezus is great for that too. Yeezus is masterful with that.
So like, if you're going to use a verb in a context like that, use it bold, like a Travis ad-lib or something, just something distorted and big and make a statement with it. I don't you know, it's all case dependent. I don't really go into a song with an agenda. When it comes to that, it kind of winds up telling me right away. It's pretty clear. I'm really into automating. I don't just put verbs on whole songs and leave them the same ever.
We've talked about printing verbs to then think of them as their own. For so long, again, using consoles, things like that, reverbs get sent to, and then they're just, they're just at 0 on the return. But once you actually take the reverb and make it its own track, it certainly has helped me think about it as a specific component in the mix. Yeah,
and when I say I automate, like I'll automate a filter on a verb. So instead of cutting the tail necessarily, if I'm not wanting to reduce the volume, I'll just reduce the high end so it goes slower. And like you can make. Did that translate?
It translated beautifully.
For the audio only, that's going to be better experience than watching my face. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But, I automate and I treat effects, right? So on a lot of things, I'll duplicate the sound and I'll put the effect right on it. It's very rare. Maybe on a vocal, I'll send to a reverb like that. It's just the Liquid Sonics, the Seventh Heaven I talked about in the Mariba thing, my Bricasti plugin basically. I'll just send to that and I'll let that do a thing and I'll mute it on things, or I'll bounce it and cut it. But that's more of a overall, just I know this is going to sound good and I'll adjust the time and it's thickening. But I normally for more sound designy things, I duplicate the sound that I want on it and I put it on it and then I'll commit that and then I'll fuck with it, right? So yeah, that's sound design, right? That's not even, I don't even know if that's mixing necessarily. It's part of it, but to me that's sound design. Yeah. So I do a lot more delays than verbs. So we should talk about I guess why. I think that delays are cooler. I think time-based quick left-right moves versus washed-out things are cooler. When you want to put things and give things a sense of space, I think no feedback, fast delays are kind of cool. And
I like that a lot.
Slappy,
just have that. It's like stereoizing, but in a particular type of way.
Yeah, with minimal length. I do like putting, if you're talking about like a synth on 1999, like the Prince stabs, like there's no way to do that without putting a verb on the Juno or on the Prophet or whatever. There's just no way. So there's obviously like that reference point of understanding, but I prefer left, right, time-based things rather than long verbs. I think it's a bit more modern, and then leave the verbs for the vocal and some dreamy nature to slower tempoed things. But again, this is all case dependent. I'm just like spitting shit out, right?
Yeah.
I don't actually, nothing is everywhere, right? So I've talked about this a lot. I'll repeat myself. I have a very small template that has the Bricasti verb, a mega verb that's super long. Just if I want to do like a weird distorted throw, it has distortion built into it. I have an eighth note, quarter note, half note delay, and an H3000 pitch shifting left and right. And that's it. Oh, I think I have a mono slap in there somewhere too. Yeah. And that's it. And they barely get used. They're just
all available.
All available for a quick idea. But sometimes the idea is just to hear the idea, and then I'll do it more independently. But if I want to just hear what the chorus is going to sound like with an eighth note delay on it, I'll turn it up, put it at 0. Oh, do I like that? Cool. And then I'll do it another way.
I see. So you'll use those as almost like idea generators, and you go, oh, a half note delay is perfect on this, but I'm going to shape it differently and do it. Yeah, gotcha.
Yes, exactly. And it's kind of how we've talked about this in earlier episodes. What I do about additive EQ is like I'll use an EQ if it's up there doing subtractive things to see the frequency range that I think I need to boost, but then I'll go to the Spectre and I'll do it. I'll do it with another plugin. So there's idea generator broad stroke moves, and then there's a better tool for that job instead of being lazy and just leaving that 2K boost.